The already humongous Amazon is looking to double in size in the next couple years, but they're not going to be doubling their workforce. In fact, they've announced they're going to be using AI and robotics to substitute for human labor. Now, they claim that they're not going to be replacing the current jobs that people hold at Amazon, but you know how it is. Companies say one thing and do another. Now, the effect of this is going to be they are not going to be hiring another 600 and some thousand jobs. And in the process of doubling in size, if you look at the past and what has happened with Amazon, Amazon has been very notorious in killing small businesses around the United States and other parts of the world. Many people that have been in business and have designed a product or created a product or have something unique have found themselves competing with Amazon, and there are other vendors that take the item or the product and have it made cheaply in China, and then Amazon will promote it above the other products because it's cheaper. And so in the process of not hiring the 600,000 workers, Amazon, in doubling in size, will be killing more small businesses. But this is what we call progress, isn't it? Now, we can't stop this progress, but take note, there are some humongous companies that are only getting bigger. And if you can imagine, as all these smaller businesses fall and the big one gets huge, massive, everywhere, people will not only not have a choice in where they shop in the future, but Amazon will be able to offer products really cheaply made in China, and people would rather pay low prices for something that won't last than higher prices for something that will last. That is just how people are. Now, some of you guys have mentioned that you don't believe AI has been replacing any jobs, and some have even claimed that all job loss is really not non-existent because all they're doing is using labor in India. But that is not true. There has been a lot of job loss. There has been hundreds of thousands of jobs lost so far. So we're heading into an interesting era with job loss now, because it started with the customer service, telemarketers, that sort of thing, and went into software development. All these desk data type jobs are under threat right now of being replaced. And the main companies that are replacing workers right now are the really big ones. And so as these behemoth companies grow, they have little or no reason to have workers. They can use AI. Now, we're heading into a situation where we could easily see high unemployment that could be greater than the 1930s during the Great Depression, which the unemployment rate peaked or averaged at about 25%. That meant that 1 out of every 4 workers was unemployed. And those times were miserable, according to my grandfather, who had to suffer through that. And when he came out of that, he was a big hoarder because during that he had nothing. And so those were hard times. We're about to head into some really hard times. And people need to understand that as these companies such as Amazon amass billions and possibly trillions of dollars, because they will be the only ones selling things. It's what the United States used to have laws that were against monopolies. Monopolies were very destructive to American society and capitalism because it didn't allow a smaller person to have an idea, work hard, and succeed, because the large business came along and crushed them. And that's what Amazon does. Now, back in the days of, this is a history lesson here, but quite a long time ago, there was John D. Rockefeller, and he owned Standard Oil. And so he would have these gas stations set up around the country, and he would go around and try to buy up all the gas stations that were competing with him. And if the gas station refused to sell, then what he would do is he would lower the price of the gas. He would just have a gas station down the block or over here or over there near that one he's trying to buy, and he would lower the price of gas so low that he was losing money selling the gas, but it would crush that other gas station who refused to sell. And so after all of that happened, all these antitrust laws were formed to help protect the small guy and help keep these large monopolies from forming. But now these companies, these large companies, including tech companies, are so big that I truly believe they control the politicians. There's no doubt in my mind that the politicians are scared of them and they don't want to go against them. But we are actually seeing a monopoly form right before our eyes, because there will be a point when mom and pop shops can't stay open anymore because they have real estate they got to pay for. They got a commercial space or whatever it is. And Amazon will be flying its drones all over the place and having driverless delivery going everywhere. So there will be almost no place in the country or even in other parts of the world where Amazon cannot get products to. But this is mostly, I'm talking about the United States right now. I think the United States is going to see really huge unemployment, and it's going to cause major social unrest. But instead of doing the right thing where they keep a monopoly from happening, or maybe break Amazon up a little bit so there's a competitor. And of course there is Walmart, but you guys, I think there are two monopolies still. If you have two monopolies, it's still bad. And so I really think we're heading into a bad place here, because like I said, the Great Depression, all it took was 1 out of 4 workers to be unemployed, and times were miserable. And they had to have soup kitchens, soup lines, and everything else. It was terrible times, and people were sleeping outside all over the place. People lost their homes and their farms and their businesses. And, it was really terrible. And of course, part of that was caused by the stock market and the bank collapse, when they had the run on the banks and everything. But it was miserable times. And now here we're living in a situation where people are going to be let go. And there are some that are very, very naive and believe that a school bus driver or a person owns a small business like a seamstress shop or something like that. They have this naive perspective of, well, they can just get into AI and robotics. But I have looked into a lot of this AI and production and things like that, and these beast building data centers that are being set up around the country. There are construction workers that go and build it. It gives like a small, short-lived boom for the workers, but then as soon as the data center is set up, then it takes a minimal amount of people to run it. So it really doesn't positively impact the area as far as money. And in fact, some of your super corrupt politicians have given these companies that are building the data centers, they've given them tax-free periods of time, like 10, 15 years, where the data center does not have to pay taxes at all. So It's the small guy left paying the taxes while the data center is there. And same thing with building robotics. Do you think for a second, if you guys think about this, do you think for a second that a factory that builds robots, humanoid robots, is going to have a bunch of people in there building these and assembling these robots? Do you think? No, no. The whole point is to replace humans. These robots are being built to replace humans, and these robots will be built by robots. There's no doubt in my mind. And so as the affluent get their humanoid robot that walks around their house, there'll be plenty of other people living out on the street. They're not going to be able to afford a robot. And you know what? If everybody was given a robot, why don't we just program tell our robots, hey, go over there and rob that store? Let's just stop that. So anyway, I have a huge concern. I've seen for the past 15 years straight, I have seen small businesses just get munched up by Amazon. I really have. I've seen them where they're selling something on Amazon, and then somebody or even Amazon brand goes and has it made identically in China, but much lesser quality. And then they come back and they sell it for half or a third of what the other guy's selling it, and puts them out of business. And they have no problem doing that. They have no conscience about it, and they have no problem, because the business model is to swallow everything up and become super giant. And in the process, they're not going to hire workers now. They're going to replace it with AI. So anyway, that's my bit of good news on Amazon. I'm being sarcastic, but if you have a comment on this, or if you have a business, or you know somebody that their business got devastated by Amazon, leave a comment for me. I read all your comments, and I take all this in, and sometimes I'll mention some of the things you guys said on future videos. So all right, that's it. And I'm introducing myself a little late here, but my name is Sean. This video we talk about AI and AI's effect on humanity, and we talk about all kinds of things that people kind of need to think about as we head into this, because I really think that we're kind of powerless to stop this, because the ones that are in power, that are pushing the AI and growing these massive companies, they really don't care about the rest of the people. They've got kind of a utopian or dystopian view to where humans are no longer necessary for Earth. And they want to be the ones left standing. In fact, a lot of the tech billionaires, they've created bunkers, getaway bunkers. So when everything goes all crazy, they can go to some island and get down in their bunker, and they'll be safe from all of you guys who are very angry with them for turning the world into crap. So let me know what you guys think. And I end with this every time. For everything we gain, there is something lost. Thanks for watching.